So who remembers this island all the way to the southwest? We've already picked up at least one goddess treasure here. And there's another one available to us using the claw shots, but it doesn't seem to be open yet, so we'll have to come back for that one. You can see this one, I have the beacon directly on top, but we already opened that chest. There are vines that lead down here. Isn't this a really nifty place for them to hide a sky chest? Directly underneath the other one, but obscured by vines to the point where you really wouldn't be able to see it unless you were looking for it. And this is the only other life medal in the game. And again, if we have this in our adventure pouch, it'll extend our life 1 heart. So I'll have to run back to the item check roll and pick this one up. And I think before I go to the next treasure, because it's kind of on the way, I'll make a quick pit stop in the Farron Woods. Why are we stopping in the Farron Woods? Well, a couple of reasons, one of which you may have seen as we flew in. There's a goddess cube up there. And even though the claw shots shouldn't be able to reach that high, guess what? The claw shots can reach that high. So let's pick this one up while we're at it. And we may or may not have another heart piece available to us right now. I'll go check. Because if Gorko is still here, staring at that wall... I don't need any more bluebird feathers, I'm not going to bother with it. If he's still up here staring at that wall, there may be something we could do. Here he is. It's a shame, isn't it? Well, I guess we could do it. And it's another goddess wall. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about those things? Yeah, I've drawn a couple of those already. They've been really nice for rupees. He tells you a couple of others as well. I was actually hoping he would tell us one that we haven't seen yet. But just draw whatever he mentions, and depending on how well you draw it, as long as you get it, no matter how good or bad the reward for it, just draw the thing that he hoped for. And for helping him out, he'll give you a piece of heart. So, when I was grinding for the evil crystals in... Did you just disappear? Oh, you're over there now. You still have an orange speech bubble? He won't give you another piece of heart, but he will tell you some other stuff that you can draw. But, like I said, the goddess walls will not respawn until at least a small amount of time. So, you won't be able to abuse your power. But I think we have a couple more sky chests to get. The next goddess chest we have available to us is up in the northeast portion of the sky. And this one, being where it is, I'd really like to see if we can get that minigame again. We might be too high for it, I'm not entirely sure how that works. But let's see if we can get those little dudes to spawn again. I'm not sure how high up, or like how close to the island we have to be to get them to spawn. Hoping they show up at some point. Color dudes? Come on, color dudes. We're in the light of the beacon and everything. Are you not going to show up? Color dudes? No? Maybe they're not going to show up. I guess they're not going to show up. Well, that's fantastic. So you might remember we got a sky chest all the way up there before. But now we can go underwater. And you know what that means? It's probably the one that we got from Lake Floria, otherwise we wouldn't have been able to even get in here. And oh man, there was a fairy in the mushroom. Or next to the mushroom or something. Didn't even realize it. Just jumped up onto the ledge, grabbed it, and oh hey, fairy. But in here's another heart medal. Since we already have one, we're not going to need it. I don't know whether or not 2 heart medals stack. I imagine their effects do stack. But it's a nice little area, secluded from everything else. I think that does it for this island, though. We're never really going to be coming back here. There's one other sky chest that we can get, but that particular sky chest is over near the Leneru Desert, so I think I'll swing by and grab that on our way to progress the plot. I think I'll be heading back to Skyloft for a couple of little things that we need to do first, though. So I'll meet you there. First and foremost, I think we should head into the bazaar. I just don't want to spend too much money. Because I know we're kind of running low on cash right now, and there are a couple of things that we need to pick up. For starters, I know we're going to need another stamina potion for Fledge. And since we have one empty bottle from the time then we used the sacred water for the water dragon, we have an empty bottle available. And I always like to have at least 2 of the, or at least as many of the, like, heart container things on hand, so I think I'll pick one up from the item girl. Sure, yeah, I came to see you. Are you okay? You want to see a doctor about that? Oh, who are we kidding? It's love. You don't need a doctor to see that. Yes, please. Wait. What did I just agree to? I thought you were going to take my items! You're confusing me! Yes, please, items! So I think we can... I still want to hold on to the shield. I think we can exchange out... Do we still need the treasure medal? I think we'll be okay without the treasure medal. We should have enough of those to go around now. So we have 2 life medals. That'll give us an additional 2 hearts. As much as I love the treasure medal, I think we have enough treasures we won't need to be picking up anymore. So we should be good on that front. And while we're here... Maybe it wouldn't be a bad... I never even think to use my health potions anyway, so I'm not going to bother upgrading it. Maybe... Do we have enough money to upgrade our stuff? I think we should have enough... Like, we would be able to upgrade to the scatter shot. I probably won't intend to use it. How much is this? 100? Yeah, it's exactly enough now that we have 4 evil crystals. We need 1 for this, and we need an additional 3 after this. That's why I ground for 4 of them. We have just enough ancient flowers from before, and just enough rupees to get this upgraded. I can live without the scatter shot, we'll never use it. Although I may upgrade it just for the sake of showing it off. So now we have the big bug net, double the original size, making it super easy to catch things. Would have been a lot easier when I was grinding for other bugs and stuff, but we'll manage without it. We did. We're fine. So we'll upgrade the scatter shot eventually, and before we go, this guy has an orange speech bubble over his head. Wonder what's bugging you? Oh, that's terrible. What's wrong? Baby? Yeah, we'll have to go see him at night. I'd like to upgrade the health potion, but we only have 5 rupees, so can't really do anything with it. But as you can imagine, having the claw shot actually opens up quite a bit to us here on Skyloft that we haven't been able to do for the longest time. So one of the first things I'm going to do is address that guy's issue, and I think their house isn't over here. I think this belongs to Kukiel. So they have a house on the opposite side, if I remember. I know the pink one is Pipit's. I think it's the one over the left here. Yeah, Birdie's house. And since he said he has trouble sleeping at night, we might as well sleep in his bed, because if he's not going to be sleeping, he's not going to need it. So this will probably just be the easiest way to meet him here. What do you know? There he is. Oh, he's got the crying baby. I think it's obvious. I think both of them are obvious. What'd you lose? Oh, of course, the baby's rattle. The bird flew off with it. Why would the bird think a rattle is food? That doesn't make any sense. Yeah, the bird wouldn't have eaten it. It's got to be somewhere. And you have to figure, since this didn't open up to us until after we got the claw shots, chances are we'll find it in an area that we didn't have access to until we had access to the claw shots. And I don't know if you're really expected to know this if you haven't done sufficient exploring around. But there's always been one particular area that we haven't been able to access at all. And you may also notice I have a blue beacon set up there already because it appeared as a goddess chest on our map. You guys going to attack me? Of course you are. There's one all the way off to the right here. And with these claw shots, they somehow allow us to reach up here. And this we can take to go to... I don't know if we can make that jump. I think we're expected to fly down there some other way. Yeah, let's see if we can make our way up here. I think we'll have to do this in 2 trips. And over here you'll also find a gratitude crystal. So there are a couple of these we haven't been able to access without the claw shots, although I believe you can reach this one with the tough beetle. If you didn't have the tough beetle, you wouldn't be able to make it because your beetle would run out before you got here. But you don't necessarily need the claw shots for that. And you can see some butterflies around here too, which means there's probably a gossip stone as well. Watch this thing give me an evil crystal after having ground for 4 of them. Another goddess plume? I've never gotten this many goddess plumes before. I think we only need 2 or 3. That's crazy. That's a good point. I think I'll do that afterwards, though. And you can see there's another goddess chest here as well that we won't be able to open for at least a little while. But you can see we can dive right off here, and this will lead to the goddess chest that we actually opened. By opened, I mean activate. You know what I mean. It doesn't matter. And in here we have another 300 rupees, so maybe we can get that upgrade after all. But I did this one first because it's easy enough to get right back onto Skyloft proper with the vines over here. And then we'll just claw shot our way back up and around. But the claw shots even make the same sound that they did in Twilight Princess. I don't know, it's a really nice sound, don't get me wrong. But for a game that needs to distinguish itself, given how many similarities between Zelda games people complain about, you'd think that they would maybe make new sound effects. Like, they were prevalent all around, not just with the... Well, that's not going to be an easy thing to jump to, is it? Got a lot of rupees in here. How the heck are we supposed to get to this thing? Like, we can see the rattle, but it's covered in dust. That was completely necessary to have there. So yeah, it's going to be a little more difficult to get that if you don't already have... I don't even know where I was going with that sentence. There are a couple of other gratitude crystals that we can pick up at night now that we have the claw shots. I know of at least one that's around here. And another one... I mean, we could get it now, but there will be a more convenient time to get it later. So I think I'll just save it for later. I mean, it kind of makes sense to get all of them at once, so you have them all in groups of 5, because that's how they're collected, and we'll get our rewards in groups of 5. I'm not all that interested in getting every single reward, because at least in terms of the wallets, we have more than enough. We can carry more than enough money. And if we have enough money to max out our wallet, chances are I'll be spending it on something, so I'm not too worried. But now that we have the claw shots, we can actually make it into this section, figure out what's down here. You might remember there's one room in Skyloft that we haven't been able to get to, and that room is not this room. Let's never speak of this again. Let's crawl through here as fast as possible and erase that from our memory. So this is the only room in Skyloft we have not visited. Take a guess whose it is. She's even got a little tingle doll. And a piece of heart in her cupboard. Still haven't figured it out? At least you won't get a game over for reading it. It's the last entry in her journal. The night before the wing ceremony. You almost killed me, too. Aww. So that's pretty much it for Zelda's room. And if you remember, we were able to see in here all along. We just weren't able to get in. I believe next door is our room. Can't really see. Oh, no, it's not. That's... Is that Karain? Maybe it's Karain's room. Over to the right? Yeah, it's Karain's room. How about that? How are you doing? Oh, you're welcome. I mean, I feel bad about Colin, but if only one of you was able to be happy, I'm thankful it's you. I think that's pretty much everything that we can do in Skyloft for the time being. So as you can see, we wouldn't be able to... Oh, we can get into Zelda's room, because we had to be able to get out. You know what? Let's sleep in her bed until morning. I guess I'll meet you guys in the bazaar. We'll upgrade the scatter shot and maybe do something else. I don't know.